the only way to be successful is to bring our partners in with this. We were partnered with a Afghan National Army brigade. So all those subordinate units of that brigade were linked up with my battalion level commanders, linked up with company level commanders across the spectrum of where we were. You got to bring them into the mix as well. You got to tie into that then the Afghan government piece of it. What's their responsibility for it? You got to tie in the I mentioned earlier about the State Department folks. I had a senior State Department civilian that was partnered with me in my headquarters, and subordinate to that senior civilian, they had a staff of USAID, U.S. Department of Agriculture. You take the PRTs, Provincial Reconstruction Teams, plus my staff that had the dollars to go in, and you got to synchronize it. We did something called a campaign plan shortly after we got there, and that's really the blueprint of how each organization is going to go in at the brigade combat team level as a battle space owner. I go back to my boss, hey, General Campbell, who has his own campaign plan. This is how I see me helping you achieve your in-state goal of your campaign plan within my time working for you, and it's done by phases. And you can't go in and say we're going to kill our way out of this. You've got to tie it all together. That's an aspect of it. And the hard thing is you've got to lead with your chin with your soldiers as you do this. There's some deliberate military operations that you can plan. Some of them are going to have to be kinetic, but really what you focus on is dealing with the village elders, dealing with the local government, whether it's a district governor, sub-district governor. I mentioned I had 4 provinces that I was responsible for. With that means I've got 4 provincial governors that I'm on a first name basis with, that I'm dealing with as I'm not only going out and visiting my soldiers and everything else that's going on, I'm building relationships with these governors to really help them understand what it is that I can do for them to help, number 1, secure their people, number 2, help accomplish their goals and objectives for the future of their province and their people, and that's tough stuff because it isn't what you typically see people in a military uniform being good at. But I'll tell you that we're very good at it, and so much. I remember as a young officer growing up through the ranks, we'd get to phase 4 of an operation, which is really what we've been in a lot of cases for the majority of the time here. And it's kind of like what happened in Iraq when we first got done there. It's like, well, somebody else is going to pick up and take care of it. Well, somebody else turned out to be the military for quite a while, and until we got the additional elements of what we call, doing united operations, where you pull all those elements of national power together to do combined operations with the State Department, USAID, all those different players to not only fix a small problem, but it's kind of like, let's not just give them fish. We'll feed them for one day. Let's teach them how to fish so they can feed themselves for many days. And that's really what we're trying to do. I see that as a long process, and obviously it has been. And there's many ups and downs within that process as well. And you have some bad days just because there's an enemy involved in this as well who really wants to, number 1, kill the coalition forces if they can. They want to drive from a national command authority or from the viewpoint of the American people, to turn that tide against them. That's been successful in our history before, and that's one of their goals, to get us out of there. So it is very tough.